This is the O-Review podcast. O-Review.
All right, welcome to another review. It's been a short while since I've picked up anything new. Most of the things that have come out lately haven't been either to my liking or they've just been a little bit more expensive than I've wanted to buy. I almost had the Zeus briefly. I ordered it, but never materialized. A month and a half went by, finally sorted that out, and in the end, didn't get it, but it's okay. Didn't need another $600 on my credit card. So instead, I did something that was on the SI site. Now, over the years, the SI models have been things that have really interested me. They're sort of a little bit different, a little bit out of the ordinary, but not really crazy. So we've got things like the ballistic chalk tube, we've got the M-Frame 3, and we've got the M-Frame Alpha. And most of these are either going to be in sort of like an SI sand or some sort of camo. So what I've picked up is something I've been looking at for a while. It's called the Hannibal, and in recent naming, things have just been whittled down to like 3 or 4 letters. So it's just HNBL, pronounced Hannibal, but not to the point where they're going to run into any sort of copyright issues. So it is primarily geared for RX, but it also has some basic ballistic sunglass options as well. I opted for the array just so I could get a couple different lenses, and that will allow me to show you how to change the lenses and take a look at some of those. So let's take a look inside. So we've got the usual paperwork. We've got a lens changing guide, and then we have a nice hard case for the rest of it. We've got a bottle of the hydrophobic solution. We've got a croquis or a strap. We've got a completely unadorned micro bag with no label on it at all. And we've got the glasses itself and then 2 spare lenses. So the lenses that it comes with, at least on this specific array, are 2 of the TR lenses, which if you remember were the proto prism. So before prism really made it big on the sunglasses with all the different variations we see now, we basically had TR22 and TR45 standing for the darker and the lighter respective offerings. Both of them are sort of in a rose tint, very similar to the VR, the vermilion red back in the day, but they're going to be more kind of geared for just outdoor use. So let's just take a look at them on real quick. This one at the moment is going to be the TR45. The TR22 is going to be a little bit darker. And then we also have the clear lens. Clear is going to be good for nighttime one. And in theory, they should be fairly easy to swap out. So I'm just going to put the lenses here real quick, and let's try to change the TR45 into the TR22. So in order to change the lenses, there's going to be a flap right here on the temple. And this flap will then open, allow us to take the lens out, put the other one in, and then close it shut. So right off the bat, if you close this hinge here, there's no way to really kind of push that down and open that flap up. What you actually have to do is not fold this first. You need to extend that, put your finger over this, and then rotate both at the same time. Now this does feel like you're going to break it, and I was initially hesitant at first because I kept pushing down, and I felt like this isn't gonna go, but it will. It's just unfortunately very stiff. So basically you sort of have to just kind of grab the stem, put your thumb in here, and then just really give it a quick or deliberate push. It's really not that bad the first time you do it or the first time you successfully do it. And then you can almost see that it's sort of in this half scenario right there where it's sort of moving between the two. At that point, you can then kind of sort of complete the turn there. And you'll notice that it is now open for you to get that lens out. So let's take one of the, actually no, I'm going to put the clear lenses in just for the fun of it. I always like to grab a bag just to keep my fingerprints off it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of grab the lens. I want to take that temple side out first. Quick pop, and then it is out. So let's take a look at the lens shape for a second. So what we have here, we have the temple side here, which is basically not going to go anywhere. That has a real good dovetail joint, which is going to be held in pretty securely by that hinge. We also have a couple of extra pivot points, which will catch on the bottom as well as the nose bridge and keep that from going anywhere. So since this is an SI model, it's really going to be very deliberate about keeping that lens in place and not having it come out for any reason unless you actually want to change it. So inside of the temple, we're going to have a place for that bottom divot, a place for the nose, and then of course where the temple is where the whole mechanism will then close. So to put it back, basically we just want to grab the lens that we need. We're going to basically try to get the nose piece, the bottom rim in at the same time, and then try to get the hinge in last. And since I really like to grab the lens with a bag and not get my fingerprints over it, it makes it 10 times harder, but just kind of the way it is because I'd rather not have smudges all over it. So let's see if we can get this in. So basically I'm going to try to get in that bottom piece right there. I'm then going to try to push in the nose one there. And I'm not really sure which one might be better. It might be, actually, you know what? I think it's easier to do the nose piece first, then push in that bottom. Okay. The weird thing about this is that there is no real audible snap. It just kind of goes into that groove and then sits there very silently. So you might be pushing, and then realize, oh wait, it's already in there. Here comes the easy part. In order to get this down, we don't really have to do anything except for just open the hinge. Now it's back in place. When we close the hinge, that piece is now locked securely, and you now have one of your lenses in place. Let's see how quickly we can do the other one. So basically just grab it with your hands, put your thumb over that, very deliberately move it down, grab the lens, pull open the temple side first, and I'm guessing probably try to grab that bottom one as well. Sometimes if you pull on the frame a little bit, it kind of eases up the tension there, and then the lens comes out. Reverse it, we get the nose piece in first, we fit that bottom one in as well. There we go. Again, no real click, it just kind of goes in and then close it, and we're in business. So, how does it look? We have a couple features on this, aside from the quick switch lock. One is the icon doesn't have a true metal icon. It's basically indented, similar to how most of the SI ones have been recently. So if you do remember the M-Frame Alpha, this one had the indented icon as well. And then the latest version of the M-Frame Ballistic version 3 also had that as well. So basically the difference between the M-Frame 3 and the M-Frame 2, there were a few extra things, but mainly it was the lack of that true metal icon. The shock tube did have an icon. Not sure why they chose to go back to that and then reverse it for this one, but I don't know. I kind of like the simplistic design, just as one less thing to, keeps the cost down. There are nose pads that keep it from slipping on your nose, but there's no ear sock, so it's not going to have any unobtainium on the ears. It does have some nice geometrical design on the temples. So if you're looking at that real quick, in addition to that lack of true metal icon, there's just a few detailings there which kind of make it nice. So there's a slight bump on the nose, which is nice. It's not terribly flat like the gas can or some of the other models. One of my big gripes about the re-release of the iJack was that it was just like very flat. I sort of like some contour there just to give it a little bit of shape to it. And then from the back side, you can sort of see the extra hinges. So you can also see kind of where the lens fits into that frame. It's not completely obscured from the back end, but it doesn't really need to be. The key is that basically this lens is not going to get out of this frame. It's going to be very secure. It's going to pass all of the ballistic testing, and it's really going to be a secure piece for if you need genuine eyewear that needs impact protection as opposed to just aesthetics. So that's going to be pretty much it for this. It is definitely a very comfortable feel. That extra wrap on this is really nice. It's going to go all the way around your head. It's going to stay there, and it's going to pretty much not jump off your face. It does come with a strap, so if you wanted to put the strap on that, there are the traditional holes that you would see in the stem here, which you're basically going to see on the M-Frame 3. as well as the M-Frame Alpha and a couple other models as well. So in theory, they look pretty much the same. They should be compatible between all of the models. So if you do have some extra straps lying around and you have those models too, they should be compatible. So I'm going to leave it at that. Obviously, they're on the SI site, so you would need an extra way to get those if you want to get them at the SI pricing. But there is going to be also a lot of retailers out there that sell the SI models at full MSRP. So you're not going to be precluded from getting them. If you really wanted them, you're just not going to get the special pricing, obviously for a reason. So I believe the SI pricing on this whole array was around 200. So add 30, 40% on top of that for MSRP. I'm not sure the exact amount, but they're going to be sort of in that ballpark. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I can get another video out in the next year or so. Take care.